And hello, everybody. It's SirWillow, back from Israel, fresh and new, and getting ready to show you all of the stuff I brought and unbox it and answer all sorts of questions for you as well. So let's have some fun. So how is everybody doing? I hope you all are having a great week. I know that the live stream here is kind of a surprise, a last second kind of deal. And I'll be honest, I was sitting there and I was unpacking everything and getting ready to film this as a regular filming thing and editing. And I realized that somewhere in the course of my trip, my little sound recorder I used to do good audio has apparently gone missing a little bit. And it's a little chaotic, and so it was kind of like, well, let's try and do this a little easier than trying to film it as a whole episode, and why not do it live? And those of you who can watch it later, well, yeah, hey, it'll be a little bit later. Had an absolutely incredible trip, which, if you've seen the couple brief live streams I did from there, you'll probably know. Good to see everybody. Let's see, Jags Nation, Boat, Jenny Dobson, Hulk Shooter, Nick D, Heidi, Matthew, Oliver. Hey, everybody, good to see you. Yeah, my chat thing is right over here, so if you see me kind of look to the side, that's what I'm doing, is I'm seeing what you're saying. I've got it in bigger font there, so I don't have to use the glasses. Yeah, Boat, basically I had left my sound recorder, and it's a little handheld thing called an H1 Zoom. And where I thought I left it, it wasn't at, so I don't know if it got moved while we were gone, or if I put it someplace else. And after about, 20 minutes of looking, I was like, you know what? This isn't worth the trouble. Let's just go live. So, but I am sure it will turn up and I will get some other episodes filmed. A couple quick announcements before I dig into all of my stuff from Israel. One, if you're on Facebook and you pay attention to my page, you may have noticed an odd little notice there. Apparently, Facebook is now offering a deal where you can actually have a fans page or a group page linked to a regular page. So I have created a SirWillow fans group page on Facebook. It is open to the public. You do still have to ask to join the group so you can post on it. But everything that is on there is public and able to be seen. So if you want to join it, just go to the regular SirWillow page on Facebook and you should be able to see a link right there to the group. Ask to join and I'll get you in and we'll be ready to go. It does not have to be channel related. You can tell me about where you're going or things you're doing and what's going on in your life, or hey, share silly cat videos, or tell me about what's going on at your local amusement park, or ask questions and comments and suggestions. So it's kind of there for everybody to be able to join in and have some fun with. Also, I'm going to go see Incredibles 2 tonight, finally, since it came out basically as I was leaving for Israel, and I will be posting a review of it tomorrow, hopefully, if all goes well. And while I won't be able to show pictures from the movie itself, it will have spoilers from the movie. So that's something to look for tomorrow. And then Thursday, the video I will have going up, if all goes well, my wife and I are going to sit down and we're going to talk about our actual trips there and back on the planes and some of the people we encountered and some of the crazy stuff we saw. The trip itself was great, but some of the people we encountered were some real characters, to put it nicely. So we're going to talk about them a little bit and some of the funny things and what not to do when you're on a plane or getting ready to travel with one. So that's kind of what's coming up. Favorite part of my trip, honestly, Gamma Guy, there were so many different things. And I will do at least a couple travel videos that will show a bunch of what we saw and what we did and experienced. The preaching part of it and the religious stuff I will put on my Burning Bush channel, but I will definitely have a couple videos that anybody will be able to enjoy with us walking around the ruins and hiking through a tunnel in the middle of the dark and some other really neat stuff. So no, I didn't see any ISIS fighters or anything at all like that. Israel is actually a much safer place than the news media would let you think. So see, Hulk Shooter's telling me, don't say what you're going to see on YouTube because somebody will ruin it for you. Here's the wonderful thing is I know how to ignore them. And since we're seeing it tonight, not a big deal. But I've got all sorts of stuff here, and I got to watch my hands here because I'm keep bumping my microphone. I'm hoping you guys aren't getting this big thump every time I do it. So, but a couple things I want to point out. We went with a group called Pilgrim Tours. And that is who we traveled with. A fantastic group. We went on a trip called the Superior First Class, which meant we stayed in all these real fancy resorts and everything along the way. But one of the things that they blessed me with, because we were blessed with the trip. We had family members who paid for it as a special thing for our 25th anniversary, which meant we were traveling with not a lot of souvenir money. And since everybody on the trip got a hat, they all kind of chipped in, and I ended up with all sorts of them. So all my nieces and nephews, my nephews and the other guys in the family are all going to get a hat. But if you're looking for a great company to go with, I can't recommend Pilgrim Tours enough. They were absolutely fantastic. We loved our time with them. And even down to little things like when you first get there, they actually give you this wonderful little map. And I looked online for good tourist maps of Israel, and this is one of the best I found. Just a great map. I mean, all detailed there. And then all sorts of other stuff on the back and other maps. And so just fantastic. So I got a couple of those. Hopefully my webcam doesn't keep flickering the lights at you. But they were wonderful. If you want to know more about traveling to Israel and ever vacationing, please don't hesitate to ask me about Pilgrim Tours. I would be more than happy to give details about what they did. Difference between U.S. and Israeli airport security. There are definitely some differences, a few, and I'll probably actually, the video on Thursday, we may talk about that in there as well. So I'll kind of see how that all turns up, because we haven't recorded it yet, Tammy. But yes, there are a few differences. So, would it be good to go without a tour guide too? We did not have any issues at all with danger. I mean, nothing, not a bit. Security was fantastic, and honestly, it didn't seem necessary in most places. However, Heidi, I would strongly suggest your first time, go with a tour group, because they know where to go and how to get in and which ways to get there. And driving in Israel is nothing at all like driving in the States. Nothing at all. If you have never driven in the Middle East or Israel or some parts of Europe, you don't want to drive in Israel for the first time. Let somebody else do it. And it's wonderful to have somebody explaining everything that you are seeing in every place you're going and giving you observations. You will learn so much more if you go with a tour group. And you don't have to worry about arrangements and travel times and all the other stuff. It's done for you. So, fantastic. And no, Jags Nation, you do not need to have armed security in Israel. Don't believe the media stories. They keep talking about this little tiny strip called the Gaza Strip as if it's the whole country, and it's not true. We could have walked anywhere and not had any problems. So, people are very polite, wonderful to ask. Food was fantastic. Oh my goodness. Here's the other reason to go on a tour group trip. You will be staying in hotels where you have a breakfast buffet and a dinner buffet. Lots of selection, lots of wonderful food. Great that way. So, wonderful stuff. So I'm going to try and go through all these different things that I brought home. Brought a bunch of great things. In fact, let me actually start off with another reason to go with a tour group. Is when you go to a lot of these places that have the gift shops, you will often get little discount coupons. So yes, that's a 5% off anything in the shop, and we had some that were going as high as 20% off. So again, great thing to know. Also, public restrooms are interesting in Israel. This is true in a lot of Europe. Many of them are pay restrooms. So you have to... okay, Jags, you need to clean it up a little bit. But if you're with a tour group, they can arrange for you to use the restrooms free because you're customers, and so you may get a ticket like this to let you scan and get into the restrooms. But lots of brochures. My next planned trip to Silver Dollar City, Simon, is going to be sometime in the next 2 weeks, but I have family coming, and I don't know what day yet. And excuse me while I reach over and grab this. Other neat thing is a lot of these places you go to, you get brochures. And yes, I came back with a ton of brochures. And I mean, we've got all sorts of stuff from the Western... Oops, try and hold this up for you. The Western Wall and King David's Tomb. Let's see. St. Peter in Galagatu, however you say it. City of David had brochures. Most of the places had wonderful brochures. Bethesda, Qumran, and I mean, just all sorts of stuff. Masada was incredible. Just really, really neat. Like I said, I got a few of these that are duplicates. let's see. Oh, the Jerusalem Light Show, and yes, I will be posting videos from that. Imagine Disney's projections on the castle put on the Western Wall and the Great Synagogue, and oh my goodness, I'm sorry, not the Western Wall, on the Old City Wall. Let me get the right wall. They did not project on the Western Wall, but they did in the Old City Wall. Very, very cool. Christ Church. Let's see. Here is, I believe this is from the Holocaust Memorial. And so all sorts of, and there's still more. So yes, I brought home tons of brochures I have to go through and sort and everything. And I'm going to try and do these kind of, sort of, in order here. So, okay. So, Jags, clean it up. Last warning, time out. Okay? All right. And, Jag, when you come back from timeout, one more comment, it'll be a boot. So, anyways, one of our first stops, we ran into a gentleman from, it's a minority Muslim religion called Druze, and he was walking around selling necklaces. And so these are the ones that we bought, and I got these for my nieces and my daughter and a couple other people. And I mean, you want to talk about cheap? All of these, and there's actually one I've already given away, these total cost $5. So we had 7 of them for $5, and they're not a real expensive necklace. They're basically handmade, I think, on fishing line or string, you know, with some beads. But just very nice gifts for young nieces and people like that. So, and some really unique ones here. So yeah, very fun. And then I love they make a nice sound. So if you're one of these ASMR people, listen to the beads. Okay. Sorry, I know that was kind of weird. My daughter loves keychains as well. So we brought her a couple at one of the shops early on. And there's more keychains in here, but see if you can see that one clear. There you go. Just a really pretty keychain. And that, if it holds still, is supposed to be the Ark of the Covenant, I believe. Nope, sorry, that's two doves in Jerusalem. And then there is a camel. And yes, we did ride a camel while we were there, which was really fun. I will get some pictures put up of that eventually. And a really nice fish. So those are for my daughter, because she collects keychains. And those are all from the Galilee area. Like, Sea of Galilee was kind of neat. It's kind of misnamed as a sea because really it is a large lake. And you can see all the way across it from one side to the other. Honestly, I think Lake Tahoe may be bigger. So if you ever go up to like the Great Lakes, those are much bigger than the Sea of Galilee. But then we went over to Nazareth. I'm knocking stuff off my table over here. And Nazareth was kind of neat. And again, keep in mind we were on a budget. All total, I spent less than $300 in souvenirs. And yes, you can use US dollars in Israel. You don't even have to exchange money. Although I did get some shekels back in change. Got a Sea of Galilee. There we go. Sea of Galilee bookmark. Yes, we did get to see the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which was really cool. And then I bought this. This is kind of neat. This is actually from Nazareth itself. We did go up to the village, and they had a walkthrough where you could see things. And you can see there's holy oil, holy water, and then I kind of had to chuckle because you have holy dirt. Yes, it's holy soil. I don't know how dirt becomes holy. But and then some incense. It's a package I'm never going to open because I know that the Catholics and Orthodox believe in holy water and dirt. That is not one of the things that my church does. Water is water. You know, whether you pray over it or not, it's still water. But for people who do believe, it's a really nice set, and I thought it'd be kind of neat to be able to put on the wall. So, I hope nobody thinks I'm making funny, but I really am not. It's just something a little different. The other thing that Nazareth does is they have a wonderful walkthrough area where they essentially try to recreate biblical times. And so if you go to Nazareth, it's definitely a place that you want to go. This is the magnet. Love the little hologram with it. And at the end of this tour, walking through the village, they give everybody who walks through an oil lamp. And this is the kind of oil lamp that they used back in those days. And you kind of look at it and you go, what? You pour the oil in, and then you have a wick, and this isn't a great wick by any means, but it's pretty typical, and you would then light the wick, and it would slowly burn off the oil and feed it that way. So that is a model of an ancient oil lamp. Now, this is not an ancient one. It is one that they recreated, but still kind of a neat little souvenir for you to have. Crane, Missouri, Tyler is asking, is Crane, Missouri next to Branson? We are about 40 to 60 minutes away, depending upon things like that. Rachel D, did I get any postcards? No, I didn't get any postcards because, for the most part, I'm going to take the pictures that are on the postcards, and it's just easier. I collect enough paper stuff, more stuff. So, what's Israeli currency called? It is called the shekel. And I actually do have a couple here on my desk. Let me dig them out. That is a half shekel, and that's a whole shekel. And the 1 shekel coin is actually based on the ancient shekel. So that's kind of what the design is based on. And right now the currency exchange rate is about 3.5 shekels per dollar. So, bye, Jags. You're done. Okay. Sorry about that with Jags, everybody. There's always one or two. Anyways, one of the other things that we bought down at the Sea of Galilee, we went to see the ancient boat, which is actually from the 1st century. It was one that they date to about the time that Jesus was there, so it's possible that this boat actually saw Jesus, which would be kind of neat. And one of the things I bought, 2 of the things I bought, was a couple scarves, one for my daughter, one for my wife. And no, they're not here right now because my wife is still exhausted from the trip. She's actually laying down sleeping while I do this, trying to get back on time. And then my son's at work, so that's why I'm not doing the reaction with them. But we bought a couple scarves, so you can kind of see there's the blue. And just really pretty, and kind of move it around so you can see all the designs on it. And then, also got the maroon one. Same kind of thing. So, that's kind of the really pretty ones. Hello, Starcoin. Have I heard about the heat wave in the United Kingdom? No, DeCake, I haven't offhand, but it is summer, so it's the time for heat waves. Let me grab another bag, and I've got all sorts of, here, give you an idea of how much stuff I got. I'm going to move the camera, and that is my dining table. And you can see it is just covered with stuff. And so, yes, I'm going to try and show you most of that, if not all of it. And this, no, there is not Walmart in Israel, just to be clear. But I am using the bag to keep a few things that I've got here. One of the things, if you've ever heard the illustration in the Bible about having the faith of a mustard seed, well, there is a jar of mustard seeds. And you can see about how big the seeds are there. Let's see if we can. And you can see it compared to my fingernail, just how much faith it is. And those things will grow a tree. And it's a pretty good sized tree. So, were there locations where my wife had to cover her head? No. She really didn't have a problem with that, although there were a couple places she did cover it. But actually, I was the one that had to cover in places like the Western Wall and a couple others, and I had a hat on, so that was no big deal. Let's see, another magnet. That's from the Dead Sea. Dead Sea was really neat, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then an I Love the Dead Sea mug magnet. And here's a couple other things that we got from the Dead Sea. If you're not familiar with the Dead Sea, it is the highest concentration of salt in water anywhere. It is crazy how much salt there is. I actually have a picture posted of me at it on my regular page, and I'll probably post it up on the SirWillow page as well. You can literally walk out to about your waist, lift one foot, and you will pop up and just float. You can't sink in it. It was amazing. And then trying to stand back up again is an interesting challenge, and don't get the salt water in your eye. It burns. But we did pick up some rocks from it, and you can't feel it, but these are actually all have a salt coating on them that came out of the water. And that's our bigger one. That's for us. And so we got those for the kids. You know, nice, real expensive souvenir. We paid lots of money to pick up a few rocks out of the water. But just kind of a neat unique little thing here. Size of Israel is actually about the size of New Jersey. Hulk Shooter, we didn't go to Islam, we went to Israel. And we had a variety of food. We had schnitzel and falafel and, oh goodness, I'm trying to remember everything we had. Lots of things in pita breads. Real neat. So, I don't know that Missouri is 8.2 times star coin. It might be. I haven't looked it up. But if you think New Jersey, and that's the size of the whole entire country, let's see. And I'm just kind of glancing through here. Did I go swimming? I did in the Dead Sea. Absolutely. We didn't really have a whole lot of time for swimming so much because we were a pretty packed schedule. We were running till about 4 o'clock every day. And then after that, we go back to our rooms and just relax, get some dinner, and then we went to bed. So, were there any places where I felt uncomfortable regarding my personal safety? No. Not even slightly. Not a bit. And we went from the north of Dan. We were actually about 25 miles from Damascus, Syria. And right at the border of Lebanon. I mean, I could see the borders. We looked into Syria and Lebanon. No danger at all there. We were down in Bethlehem, which is Palestinian Authority area. No problems at all. So no, we didn't feel unsafe at any point, ever. Very quiet. There was no sign of any unrest. We were with Muslims and Arabs and Christians and Jews and in major mixed places. The Festival of Lights, you could see all of these different people all together. It's completely open and free, and there was no issue at all. So, no, we didn't have any problems at all. Did I visit any parks? I visited lots of parks. That's what most of these... Israel's kind of neat, and then most of the ruins are actually parks. So, did I walk on the path? I'm sure I walked on several paths where Jesus walked. That was part of the trip. Let's see here. Get this other bag out. This actually comes from the Galilee Baptismal Site, which was very neat. There are 2 different places where they do water baptisms in the Jordan River. The first one is the Galilee River site, and it was much, much nicer than the second. The second was really out in the wilderness, and the water looked ugly and murky and gross. There is a video of me on my Burning Bush channel doing baptisms because since I was the tour pastor, I got to be the one to baptize everybody, which was really cool. That was awesome. Simon, have I been to the Holy Land in Florida? Yes, I have. Several years ago, but I have been there. Okay, so I'm pulling everything out of this bag. We bought 4 shirts at the place. This is the one that my wife got. It actually says Jerusalem on it. And then we've got this one for my son. So it's got peace in all sorts of different languages. And then that is my daughter's. So it looks like a mosaic, which is really cool. And then mine, I couldn't find the shirt that was actually perfect for me, so I got this. And really, mine should have said I was baptizing people in the Jordan River, but it was pretty good. So, let's see. Let me try and adjust this a little bit for that glare. There you go. Let's see. Hope that helps the Cake Monster with the glare. The Festival of Lights is a big open-air thing that they do in Jerusalem, and it's all over the city, and they have light displays and people dancing in lights and projections and all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. I will have a video where I will mention the Festival of Lights for you, Rachel. And then also with the baptism site in Galilee, you have these neat little brochures. So yes, more brochures. And then we got, I mentioned the ancient Galilee boat. So they had a souvenir book, so I had to get that. And just really neat things to talk about. And yeah, you get pretty close to the boat. You can't touch it, but really neat. And diversity, Aaron, the number of people we saw people from China, Romania, Poland, Japan, I mean, all over the place. Tons of different countries, tons of languages. And we were there during the off season as far as tourists go because it starts getting hot in June. And just people from all over the world. Just amazing the diversity that was there. So that was awesome. Let's see. I still have more Dead Sea stuff here, too. I'm telling you, I have lots of bags. Now again, we were shopping for a lot of people, especially the ones who helped us to go, and the Dead Sea was one of those big stops. If you're ever looking for Dead Sea mineral stuff, Ahava is the big brand that people talk about. It's also really expensive. So we found some things that were not Ahava. So we brought back several packages of bath salts. And so you can see that. And that's one of the ones we're giving. And then big one for my wife. So there's kosher. And this is actually Dead Sea salt. It's bath salt. So. And then, boom. Of course, if you go to the Dead Sea, the thing that everybody talks about is the mud. So you got to buy some packages of Dead Sea mud. Then if you ever really want to get a mud fight, you use this. And it's inexpensive. But we actually got these at a good rate. If you were buying the brand stuff, these things would often be $10 to $20 a packet. And I found, we stopped at a wonderful place run by an Arab family that was selling these for about $2.50 to $3 a packet. And so we bought a bunch for everybody. And then we had to carry them because you couldn't put these into the suitcase. The mud we had to put in the suitcases, but they were heavier. We would have gone way overweight. So those are really cool. And then, again, keeping in mind this is all for the ladies, we also found these little packets, which is soothing body milk and hand lotion and other things like that. And so we will be sharing these with family members. And just a nice little packet. And again, this is all filled with minerals from the Dead Sea. So there's all sorts of stuff in there. So for the ladies who like all your lotions, Dead Sea has all sorts of them. And then to add on to that as well, and again, we've got, see, I'm having to buy for I have two sister-in-laws and my mom and a couple other people. And so we want to make sure we had something for everybody. The Cake Monster, actually, where we were at the Dead Sea, we were at the far south end, and there really wasn't mud where we were. It was sand beaches. The places where the mud is are kind of harder to get to, and they're more expensive and a pain in the neck. So you really don't go scooping up your own mud. You could. Our resort we were at actually offered a mud cake thing, and you had to go to the spa to pay for it. We weren't going to pay for that. But 3 more lotions, and again, these all have minerals from the Dead Sea in them. So really kind of neat little things. And so it's a nice gift for the ladies because, you know, the ladies love all these lotions and creams and Dead Sea stuff. How long were the flights? We flew from Kansas City to Newark, New Jersey, and then we flew from New Jersey to Tel Aviv, and then we did it in reverse. The New Jersey to Tel Aviv flight on the way there was 10.5 hours, and on the way back it was 12.5 hours. They were long. And then, of course, we had 2.5 hours each way to get from New Jersey to Kansas City. So when we got to Jerusalem itself, we stopped on the top of the Mount of Olives and looked out over the city. In fact, if you looked at the thumbnail, that's actually where that picture was taken from, was the top of the Mount of Olives. And there was a gentleman up on the top of the hill selling things, and I'm kicking myself for not buying 2 of these. He had these incredible posters. And there you go. You can see this huge thing, and it's long. It shows the whole city. And what's also neat is on the back, it actually has another picture and all the different tabs so you can see what everything is in that picture, which is really cool. This poster was only $1. And why I didn't get more than one, I don't know. I really should have. So this is for my son. He's getting that, which he was really cool. He's like, I don't want to give it back yet, Dad. I'm like, sorry, I got to show it on the video first. But yeah, just neat poster and only $1. So yeah, 22 hours, Tyler. Our trip home, we got up at 5:45 in the morning on Saturday. We arrived at our hotel at about 11:15 at night. And when you add in the time change, we figured out we had been awake for 25.5 hours for that whole trip. It was a long trip. So, are the minerals known to be effective? I have heard so, Empty Man. I honestly don't know for sure because I generally don't do stuff like that. But as far as I know, they are. One other shop that we found when we were in Bethlehem. You know, we've got family members, and you all have met my daughter, Amber. So, of course, we had to get a vial of Amber lotion for Amber. And my wife's sister, the one who actually paid for the trip, her name is Sharon Rose Douglas. And hey, look, there's a rose. So, we didn't find any Rose of Sharon. I wanted to. And then we've got one other sister to buy for, and we couldn't find her name, which didn't surprise me, so she gets some jasmine. And then on our next to last night there, I met another viewer, guy named Jeremy. Haven't seen him pop in here, but he and his wife and his 2 kids, and they were a huge blessing. They're the ones that we actually went to the Festival of Light with and walked down around the old city and saw the lights up there and watched the projections on the walls, which was so neat. And then the synagogue, and I mean, it's all this moving animation, pictures and everything with music, and just really cool. And then went down to the Western Wall with him and his wife. Well, they actually gave me a gift, which blew me away. Let's see if I can get this here for you. And I still have more stuff, don't worry. But they brought me this beautiful picture, and this is the plan is to put this in my office in between the bookshelves. So you will get to see this in future videos. And it looks like that. And there's gold leaf on there, so it's not really worth money as far as the gold goes. But just beautiful, beautiful. And I'm going to forget what the psalm is. Hang on. And it's actually Hebrew writing on there, which is really neat. And let me see if I can quickly pull up the scripture. The passage on there is actually from the book of Psalms. So let me hold it up again for you. There it is. And the Hebrew writing is actually up in here and then right there. So it may be a little hard for you to see, but it is definitely there. And it is from Psalm 137:5. And says, let's see. And I'm not even going to try to say it in Hebrew because I can't do it. Jerusalem may, let's see. If I forget thee, Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its cunning. So that is approximately what it says in Hebrew, and just beautiful. So that's going up on my wall in the office, and you'll get to see those later. Let's see, is there a lot of walking and physical activity there? Oh, yes. With my Fitbit, my small day was 12,000 steps. And that was riding a short bus to and from things. So we did lots and lots of walking. There were actually a couple days where, with my heart conditioning acting up, that I ended up slowing down and kind of let the group go on ahead while I skipped a little bit. We stopped at a place called En Gedi, and it has 3 waterfalls, and you can walk all the way up to the 3rd one if you want. I stopped at the first and just let the rest of the group go and waited for them to come back. So yes, you can have lots and lots of walking if you want. Let's see. Am I going to see Samson and Branson? I definitely hope to at some point, Tyler. We will see how it works out. Did I learn anything new history-wise? I learned a ton. Our guide was absolutely fantastic, and honestly, it was like a 10-day college course. It was just crammed with information. So lots and lots of things there. So really cool. Let's see. Now, I still have a few other things here. When we went to Bethlehem, which is the Palestinian Authority, you do actually have to go through a security check there, and there's guards. They stop everybody. Wasn't dangerous at all. But then, while we were in Bethlehem, after the Church of the Nativity, we went over to a wonderful store that had all sorts of woodworking. They had some of the most gorgeous olive wood pieces I've ever seen, including some that they had pieces that ranged to $15,000, $20,000. They actually had a couple that were over $100,000 for this olive wood carving, but just incredible. But we bought some smaller things. We bought some little necklaces of olive wood, and that's actually got a little bit of mother of pearl laid in it. And same thing with that one. And these actually came out to about $1, and a half each. Was there a lot of poverty in Israel? Similar to here. Places, yes. Other places, no. Now, here's one of the things that I was really blessed with this place where we got the olive wood. Everybody who walks in actually gets free gifts, and let's see, and I don't see where I put them. Oh, here we go. Everybody who walks into the shop would get a free little piece of olive wood. This is the Jerusalem cross. In fact, the Franciscan church uses these, and they're all over the place. And so you can get a little piece. So there's the ones my wife and I got. And then because I was the pastor of the tour, they actually gave me specifically a free gift, which I couldn't have afforded this otherwise. And that is this cross. And you can see the hole to hang it up. It says Jerusalem there. This is olive wood. And this little guy would have cost me $40 otherwise. I mean, you could barter and probably get him down to about $30, but it's still a more expensive piece, and my budget wouldn't have allowed that. But that's going to go up on my wall as well. Just a really neat piece of olive wood. And then we also, for all of my family, olive wood comes from olive trees, Hulk Shooter. That's why it's called olive wood. So if you ever go buy a can of olives, this is from the trees. Did it make me feel holy and spiritual going to all these spiritual sites? Honestly, it humbled me and made me realize how shallow I really was. Empty Man, or Mr. T-Man. It was an incredible honor and privilege, and when you're standing there next to something that is thousands of years old, whether it is the Western Wall or even where we ate in Jerusalem, the walls around us were hundreds of years old. That's an incredible thing. So no, you don't feel holy and spiritual, and if you do, you probably need to be smacked around a little bit. You feel very humbled and in awe of where you are, and undeserving. We also bought these packages of olive wood Christmas ornaments, so this way everybody in my church can get one of these, and everybody in the family and other friends. Each one has 9 ornaments in it, and you can kind of see, there we go, how those look. And again, these are all olive wood, and just really pretty little things. There's another nativity scene, and then you've got the heart. And because we wanted to make sure that we brought something back for everybody, especially those who didn't get to go but would have loved to go. And so it's really nice that way. Like Olive Garden. Yeah, it's cute, Audio Bird. That sounds like one of my jokes. And then, and boy, am I going to have a mess to clean up after this video is done. And then the last of my magnets. Oh, we also got my wife a couple pairs of earrings, and these are going to be hard to see. See if we can open this up a little bit. There we go. You can kind of see, you know, it looks like turquoise. And I don't know if you can see these or not. I don't want to take them out of the bag because I don't want to lose them. I'll let my wife do that. Hey, that almost focused. So nice earrings. Did we eat any lamb? Absolutely. I couldn't tell you how many times I ate lamb. I did a few times. With these huge buffets that we had, it was all sorts of stuff that we ate. And so it was wonderful. Other magnets, that's from Bethlehem. And then got that one really nice. So I got my share of magnets. Wrong place there, Decay. No, Mickey's not in Israel. And then the last things, let me get these over here, from the last couple days. One of the things that was really neat in Jerusalem, the hotel we had, again, huge buffet dinner, and we had the same waiter almost every meal, to the point where we became good friends, actually exchanged contact information. You generally don't tip for your meals in Israel because it's included in the prices, but we tipped him because he was wonderful. Well, he actually he's got a cousin that works at a metalwork shop in Bethlehem and brought us back gifts. And just a huge surprise, we weren't expecting it. This is what he gave my wife. And it is a compact that opens up, and according to him, this is handmade. So just really neat. And then he also brought back a magnet for me, and everybody in our group, we had a group of 10, got gifts. And so I was like, that is really cool. That's perfect for me. And then our last day actually in Israel, we went to the Garden Tomb, which is one of 2 places where they think Jesus was crucified and buried. And just a neat place. We had communion there, shared a wonderful time, bought the souvenir book, and then we went shopping in Old City, Israel, in particular around the Christian quarter. And the quarters are not split up into quarters of the map. It's actually just an area there. Where was I in Israel? All over the country, Jamal. All over the country. What was the vegetation like? Up in the north, lots of it. There were forests, huge amounts of farms and produce and everything else. And then you get down to the south and it's barren desert. In fact, Jerusalem itself is beautiful, lots of trees and things. And you go over the hill and you're in desert. I mean, literally a 5-minute drive, and the terrain changes incredibly. Huge differences, which was really neat. So we're shopping in the Christian quarter, having lunch there, and it's a slow day that we're there. It's Friday, so it's before the Jewish Sabbath, and there's just not a lot of tourists because it's off season and on a Friday. And so I went into a couple of the shops and just poking and prodding around, and got a couple of really nice deals. One of the things they do is they sell t-shirts all over the place for goofy tourists like me, and I had to buy one. He actually custom made it, took the iron on, put it on the shirt I chose. And of course, you all know that I am a 49ers fan. But then, of course, you add in the Arabic. Gotta get the custom shirt. So that was really, really cool. What was favorite food that you can't get in the U.S.? Pretty much everything we can get. Pretty much everything we ate you can get in the U.S., but their fruits and vegetables were all fresh. Came straight from the farms. They weren't transported in and imported like they do here. So that was... I loved having all the fresh fruit. They also do things a bit different. With Jewish dietary laws, you don't put dairy and meat together. So in the mornings was the dairy meal, and then in the evenings was the meat meal. What it means is things like tacos, you don't put cheese on meat. No cheeseburgers. Pizzas did not have a pepperoni pizza because that would mean meat and cheese together. But really kind of neat that way. So anyways, my last shop while we were there, slow, and I have been looking for what is called a shofar. It's a ram's horn. It's what they used to blow, the priests would blow at the temples. And they're expensive. To get a decent shofar, you can look at $100 up to $250. Oh, thank you, Jamal. I appreciate that. I thought it might be, but although I thought it was Arabic but not Hebrew, but hey, thank you, Jamal. Appreciate the translation. It's always good to know what you're wearing. But I was looking for a nice shofar, and again, my budget was really, really cheap. And so I knew I wasn't going to be able to spend $100 on a shofar. And so I walked into one shop, and they had some small shofars, which I had seen for $40 or $50, and again, couldn't afford it. And they had some incense, and we love incense. And so I started talking, picked it up, looked at it, that would be neat. And the shopkeeper walks up, again, slow day. Well, normally this shofar would be $120, but today I'll give it to you for $80. And I was like, it's my last day of the trip. I've spent everything I have. I've got $25. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll throw in the incense and we'll make it $75. And I'm sorry, I've got $25. And that was basically kind of how it went. He kept bringing down, and I kept going, I'm sorry, all I have is $25. Because that's really all I had at that point. And he finally, he looks at me and says, it's been slow. I've had no customers. I need a sale. And he kind of puts his hand out backwards next to him like, don't let anybody see how much you're paying. And sold me the shofar. And again, this is a small one. And no, I can't blow it because I'm terrible. I make no sound. There is a way to blow it and make noise because I saw somebody do it with this horn. I can't do it. But that is the shofar. And then the package of incense. And I paid $25 for really what, even at a good price for him, should have been probably about $40. So I was very pleased and blessed. So that was really, really cool. Am I happy to be back in the U.S. and have hamburgers? They do have hamburgers there, just not cheeseburgers. So you can buy hamburgers. They are cooked a little differently because of dietary laws. But no, we had hamburgers there. Actually, what I was very happy to get when I got back was our next day we went down to Jack in the Box and bought tacos. I love tacos. So, yeah, audio brew. Got to play it like a trumpet. I can't play it like a trumpet. And it's got a little bit different spit valve there. So there is a way to do it, and I can't do it. But I was just looking just to have the decoration, and that's definitely Israel right there. So, but that is everything I brought. Yeah, I know, lots and lots of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed looking at all that. I noticed there's a few more questions popping up, so happy to answer a few more questions. Like I said, I will definitely be doing a video that's talking about the travel and the people that we were with. We flew United the whole way, which isn't my favorite airline by any means. And it showed up in a couple things. So I will, hopefully Thursday, I'll have the video that will actually talk about the trips back and forth and the people that we encountered. And then we've got family from out of state that arrives tomorrow. The ones, in fact, who paid for our trip to Israel. They will actually be arriving here in Branson tomorrow night. And then we will be spending a week and a half, almost 2 weeks with them. And then more family coming in. So you'll be seeing some stuff pop up like that. Was the idea of haggling, negotiating for items common or just that one vendor? Very common. Israel, you have a couple stores where everything is fixed price, but most of it is small individual run stores, and haggling and negotiating for prices is a very, very normal thing. In fact, if you don't haggle, you're going to get taken. And we would see that just with the high prices they would start with. Never, when they make you a first price, never, ever pay that first price. In fact, if you're paying, 2/3 of that price, you're probably paying too much. So you should be able to get it down. No, we will not be blowing the shofar for services. It will be something I will talk about and use as an illustration, but I will probably never actually blow it. Who knows? Maybe I'll actually learn how, but at least you didn't get dragged out of the PL. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there, DeCake. Didn't see anybody getting dragged out of anything, so... but just an incredible, fantastic trip. So look for some videos coming up that will kind of show you where we went and what we did. There will be video of, or pictures at least, of us riding the camel and out in the Dead Sea. I have video of us going through Hezekiah's Tunnel that I'm hoping came out well, which was an incredible experience. Almost everybody spoke English. Most people in Israel speak at least 2 languages, Arabic and Hebrew. Pretty much everybody gets those. And then many of them spoke English. There were some that didn't, but partially because they have immigrants from all around the world. From South America, we ran into people who came from Argentina and Ecuador. Uruguay, to move to Israel. You have people from Russia and Poland and Ukraine. Our tour guide originally was from Ukraine and had moved there. We found people from China, from Africa. We ran into one gentleman whose family had been in Ethiopia, although he had actually grown up in Canada, and just people from all over the world, which was really, really cool. But everybody spoke Hebrew, most people spoke Arabic, and most people spoke English. So it wasn't a problem finding people who spoke English. And any place that there were tourists, it was English. So, but just wonderful trip. And again, if you ever want to go to Israel, it is an expensive deal, especially when you figure in airfare. We paid approximately $4,000. Sorry, we didn't pay. My family paid. It was approximately $4,000 first price for our trip. And again, we were on an expensive 12-day trip to Superior First Class, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of things like that with Pilgrim Tours, and they were fantastic. I can't say enough good things about them. They were wonderful. And yeah, M.M. Kenny gives a good example of, things that you can do with bartering, because you can actually barter here in the States with stuff too, sometimes. So, hope everybody enjoyed looking at that. Like I said, now we got a big old mess here to clean up. Yes, there are different soundings of the horn for different things. One, for example, is the call to prayer and worship. Another one means, for example, sounding a noon. They have a time thing like that, stuff like that. Did I get to Jeremiah's Grotto? No, we did not. Didn't see that one. Although we did go in the tunnel underneath the Temple Mount. Where the western wall is, there's actually another tunnel there that you can go all the way down under the wall and come out the other end. We went through Hezekiah's Tunnel, which is where they used to actually dig water, to get from the inner city to the spring that was their water source if they were under siege. And so, just incredible stuff. But so, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the look at my haul and the look at some of the memories and things we did and stuff like that. And had so much fun with you joining me. I really appreciate it. Feel free, if you've got other questions about the trip too, shoot them to me. I will try and get all of them together and put it into a video so people who may be interested in knowing what it's like, I can answer a lot of those questions for you as well. Thank you for everybody who's enjoyed looking at the pictures on my Facebook page. And I've got approximately 4,000 pictures of my own to go through, plus another 1,500 of my wife's, and then videos and other stuff. So it's going to be a little bit to do that. Joanna, I'll be at the Silver Dollar City sometime in the next 2 weeks, but I don't know when. Don't really know for sure, but I will try and get posted. But I will be there with family from out of state, so don't know how free I'll be to necessarily say hi to people. Thank you again for everybody who joins. Thank you for your questions and comments and everything else. Had a lot of fun. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.